Hello, amazing agents. Welcome to Agent Tech Mastery Podcast, where we explore cutting edge technology, systems, apps, and a mindset for a profitable and integrated real estate business. If you've been feeling stuck and stressed and anxious and confused and overwhelmed with systems, technology, and apps, then you've come to the right place. My name is Darcy LaRock, and my co-host is Terry Osty. I have been in information technology for about 30 years. I speak all over North America about systems for agents, and I was on TV for 3 seasons teaching tech tips. And Terry is an absolutely amazing agent for almost the last 20 years. Oh, and he's also my husband. This podcast covers all things about streamlining your operations, saving you time, and boosting your revenue, and so much more. I am so grateful for your presence here today. Now let's dive into the Agent Tech Mastery podcast. All right. Hello, everybody. What are we talking about today, Terry? It's very exciting, I think. We're going to talk AI, which is, we could probably talk for hours.
There's a lot to unpack there, that's for sure.
And if we get a chance, maybe we'll do websites. But we're just going to preface this with when we have a podcast schedule. I haven't been drinking, I promise. Scheduled for July 3rd. And this is the very first time that we're going to have a guest on. And we're so fortunate to have Tony Adams. And he's done some really cool AIs. So this is kind of a cool topic now. And then we'll talk to him specifically what he's done and how it will help agents. And we haven't quite tested it yet for him, but I've tested it for me or for you. I haven't tested it for Terry yet for listing presentations. But overall, really, AI has, well, changed my business extremely and for the better. And I know a lot of people are scared about it, but I can see that as well. You, Terry, do you feel like some people are like, oh my goodness,
Yeah, I remember when we were
robots are
getting rid
taking
of
over?
fax machines. You remember when fax machines were disappearing and people had to learn new software when the boards were changing software, people were freaking out. This is just another one of those things uh,
Yeah.
happening.
So just for you younger agents, fax machines, which we do not
There's
use
these
anymore.
big box things that you'd plug a telephone line into.
That I actually, oh my God, faxes. That's when you would actually have to go walk over to a machine, input your piece of paper that you wanted it to go to somewhere else, like a bank or your office or whatever, or your clients. You could fax things to your clients. We don't fax anymore. And you're right. I think a lot of people are freaking out about AI. So, as we do on all these podcasts, Terry and I are just chatting about stuff that we've learned. And so, Terry, what's your biggest takeaway for how you're using AI, and maybe tell people what how you see it helping your business?
I use just the very basics for AI stuff. It helps me get information quickly,
Like quickly.
like quickly and thoroughly.
Yeah.
And to preface that, you always have to vet this information.
Yes.
You
Mm-hmm.
can't just take it as gospel and put it out there. You have to vet it. You have to understand where it's coming from.
Yeah.
But there's so many ways. And I've talked to a lot of guys, and one of my guys, Peter, he'll say, please get me information on zoning code XYZ in whatever city, and show me where it came from or however he verbalizes that. So
Oh, the
that's
source.
yeah,
Yeah.
quote source. So it'll actually tell you where it came from, right? So
Yeah.
that's one little trick that you can do to verify sources. Um, and it also, and I I took English at university for 2 or 3 years, whatever it was, and AI writes way better and faster than I do.
I
So
am, I can't tell you guys how often I will. Actually, I will tell you because I do it I use AI every single day. And so I have a membership for agents that go through my program. And I write a certain way. I did not take English in high school.
In high school, of course you did.
In university, I mean, I did take it in high school. Sorry. But I mean, I'm not the best at composing stuff, right? I know what I want to say, and the way I speak is very direct. Um, so what I do is I take whatever, like I'm going through every module in our course now, and I'm grabbing the text, I'm throwing it in AI, and you can literally say, because it's technology, so boring sometimes, I might say make funnier, put a sarcastic twist on it, or make more concise, because sometimes I give you guys too much information, and you just throw it in there, and it every time I'm like, oh, that's so good. I literally just rewrote my bio this morning. I was, because I'm speaking at some conferences and I wanted to redo my bio, so I just grabbed it and said make more enticing, and hello.
How
So
long does that take? Like hours to process that?
2 seconds.
2 seconds, I know.
It's incredible. So here's a tip for you guys, that you guys who, and I'm not psychic. I've just seen a lot of your websites. Is that you need to go onto your bio, grab the text, and throw it into whatever AI you use, ChatGPT, or I use Poe, which we'll talk about in a minute, um, and throw it in there, and just see how much better it will create your bio. Or if you don't have a bio, you literally can just say, whatever. My name's Terry Osti. Write a bio for me. Um, Here's my website. Sometimes they can pull the information off your website, but you can also just give them. I used to be a firefighter. I was a sales manager. I was whatever. Give points and say, write a 500-word bio or 200-word or whatever. And then if you don't like it, you can just say redo, redo, redo until it's something you like, or you take bits and pieces of it. It's incredible. And I know that Terry, you and I barely touching the surface on what AI can do,
Yeah, for sure.
right?
Yeah. There's so many things. Like in the real estate world, I know one of the guys who has a marketing company, real estate marketing company, and part of his training program is he'll actually, if you become a salesperson as part of his team, you have to go through an AI based training academy, if you want to call it that.
Right.
So you have to go through all these modules, and you're actually, it comes time to actually doing a sales call, you're talking to a bot, and the bot is asking you questions based upon, let's say, it's a young family who wants a two-bedroom, minimum 3,000 square feet, and I need two parking spots. And you go through a sales call, and you're talking about this development. And at the end of this 5-minute phone call or whatever it is, the system gives you an evaluation of how well you explained the product, how courteous you were, and it gives him, as the guy who owns the company, a full report on his employees and how well they're doing in communicating the product properly, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah,
that's just the tip of the iceberg. And you can write songs. He shows another one where you can, if I want to write a song about Darcy with curly hair, living in Kelowna or whatever, in AC/DC rock and roll form,
yeah. You can do that.
he'll write an AC/DC song about Darcy LaRock in like 5 minutes or less, or
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. So that reminds me too, like personally,
Mhm.
I, so I am not a poet, nor am I a songwriter. I wanted to send something to my girlfriend's daughter because she broke her leg, and I'm struggling. I wanted to do something funny. So I
Mhm.
literally went to AI, said, make a joke poem about her name, how old she was, what happened. And it did it. And I was like, it was way too long to start with because I just was putting on a little card. And so I said, make shorter. And then it was make shorter. And then eventually it was short enough for me, what I wanted. And you know what was funny? She texted me and said, "Oh my God, the best thing was that poem." I didn't fess up that I didn't write it. I took the time to write it. But it was incredible, right? Like for personal stuff, I doing emails, like actually, you can actually turn out some legal stuff we were dealing with. And remember, we took what we were going to write and then we put it into AI and we said, make this like a lawyer wrote it.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was incredible. It was incredible. And then the other one that I did recently is, anyone saw it online? I made my, because I don't know if you've seen all the babies that are out there now. They make Donald Trump a baby and talking in Donald Trump voice, whatever. I made myself a baby. That sounds weird when I said that. But it was so cool. It took the dress I was wearing in the image, and then it took my voice, and then I told it what to say. And this cute little baby that had white curly short hair. It was so cute. So I can't even imagine where this is going, and I'm sure a lot of people listening are going, "This is horrible. It's going to take away so many jobs." And I agree. Terry, was it you that gave me the stat about it took away 10,000 jobs, but then
Oh,
created 30? Oh
yeah.
my gosh, who was I talking to? Okay, I don't even remember who I was talking to. It was at the conference. It was at the
Oh,
conference.
yeah.
We were talking to someone and they said that they did see it was a large company that had laid off a bunch of people, something like 10,000 people. I think it was Amazon. Now I don't really remember. Because AI can take over so much more of this, so they can AI eventually will take over support calls and everything really. But then it created way more jobs because the company got bigger because of that. So yeah, low level entry jobs may go away. I don't know what your feelings are, Terry, but it's going to create a whole other level of jobs for people. What are
Yeah,
your
it's kind of called evolution, right? Like
thoughts?
you had a whip, uh, horse and buggy company back as the world was evolving into internal combustion engine mobility. Then yeah, you died with that, right? But
Yep.
the world keeps changing. You have to embrace change. Now, one of the things I was talking to somebody last week about AI stuff was how environmentally unfriendly it was, and I said, "Oh,
Mm,
please
mm,
explain that because I really, you know, I don't."
yeah.
And they said, "Well, the components, the amount of energy and water for cooling, whatever, however this is all set up on the back end, um, is environmentally unfriendly."
Yeah, I remember him saying that if everybody started to use AI, that we wouldn't have enough power uh, to support that.
You should ask Poe right now how much.
I should ask Poe. Poe's the AI I use. Okay, actually, that's a good one. I'm asking Poe right now. Keep talking, Terry.
You're gonna burn up a bunch of electricity asking
Um,
this question about how bad it is for the environment.
services. So it says, how much energy is AI services impacting
The environment. Let's see.
the environment? Okay, environment. Okay, let's see what AI says. I might not be in the
They're gonna
right.
say, mind your own business, Darcy.
Oh,
Let
it
me
just shut down.
let me do my job. Yeah.
Okay, it says AI models, particularly large scale ones, require significant computational power, which directly does translate into high energy consumption.
Yeah.
Training a large AI model involves running thousands of GPU or TPU, I don't know what that means, extended periods, often weeks and months. A single GPT-sized model consumes hundreds of megawatts of electricity. The research at the University of Massachusetts estimates the training of a large NLP model could emit as much CO2 as 5 cars over their entire lifetime. 62,000 pounds of CO2.
I don't know if that's a lot or not. I think
I
it's
don't
CO2
know.
tons, isn't it?
Once trained, AI models require ongoing energy for inference, responding to user inquiries. This is especially true for models deploying scale serving millions of users simultaneously. The environmental impact of AI depends on the carbon intensity of the electricity used in the data centers. Data centers powered by renewable energy, wind, solar, hydro have much smaller carbon footprint. Data centers relying on coal, oil, and natural gas significantly increase the carbon emissions. And it's a very long, I'm not going to read everything. It's a
No.
really long article. So yeah, there is some impact, which I had never thought of.
Yeah. So I
But
guess bottom line is
but
be sensitive to
well, I guess we have to think about that. But the other thing too, when that guy was talking about that, I was thinking, what about the Teslas? Like
Yeah, that's a
What happens if the whole world became electric? We couldn't support it. Like we had that instance where there was a building where, remember the building
that's
where we
building
lived?
downtown. Yeah, it couldn't be built because there wasn't enough power in that location.
Because the city, what was it? The city required so many electric
Yeah,
car
what's
spots.
happening in BC is everything called step code, which we want to get to net zero by 2032, as far as constructing goes. So they want to electrify these new buildings. So, where you would normally have a gas stove and a gas fireplace, they want that to be electric. And then they put a provision in that for multifamily strata complexes, every parking spot had to be EV ready.
Right. Yep.
So
Yep.
that, on paper, that's a lot of power, right?
Yeah, and I think it was really interesting, and that was a few months ago, when we were talking to the developer,
Yep.
I think it was,
Developer.
they said they had the plans, it was approved, and then the developer, and then they said, well, you have to do this. And they said, okay, but do you have enough energy to support another tower with, I don't know how many car spots? And then the city came back and said, oh, no, we don't.
Once the engineers did all their job and they determined that the draw in that particular location was much more significant that was available at that time. So they,
Okay, so there, we are aware there are some impacts of AI, but there's also some unbelievable things that it can do.
Mhm.
And I think it's worth, and I think if you don't know what AI is, just sign up for ChatGPT. That's probably the most common one out there. Is that the one you use, Terry? Or you use Poe?
Whatever Poe is defaulting on,
Okay.
there's a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
talking to Peter last week about that. So
Well,
yeah, AI
uh,
is changing every day.
oh, it's incredible. And so Poe has different, Poe is a like the mothership of a bunch of other AI. So it has ChatGPT inside it. So I'll tell you just a couple other things that I've been using it for, and it blows my mind. You don't, okay, I used to do build websites and program. I've been out of it for a long time, and I know enough to be dangerous, but I thought, you know what? I wonder if it could build me a website. So I literally put text in there and said, could you build me a website with this code, CSS or HTML, which is most websites that you can use. Within a minute, it wasn't fast because it's coding now. It created a website for me. And if I wanted to, I was just testing it. I could have just grabbed the code, gone to whatever my website host provider is, added the code, and now I have a website.
Yeah, yeah.
It was incredible. And then presentations, I just went, if you use Google Slides, anybody, or
PowerPoint.
sure PowerPoint does this, but I use Google Slides, and Google Slides comes with Gemini now. Gemini is their AI version. And I wanted to recreate some slides. So I just took what the text and the notes of the slides and I put it into Gemini. Now it's not as good as other things but there was some good ones that I went, oh, that's way better than what I would have done. That image is better and that the way they said it is better than I would have done. So, man, and also here's another one that I haven't used it a ton because I'm so used to just going, you get in your habits. I go to Poe all the time and I grab text or put text in and get what I want to say. If you are a Gmail user now, you'll notice the AI prompts in the description of the text, and you'll see, maybe you haven't noticed it, because before, it was funny. I don't know if you noticed this, Terry. Before, when you went in, and the very first time I saw it, it said, I'm laughing at myself, it said Polish. And I read it as Polish, the language, and I thought, that's stupid. And it is Polish.
Oh,
They know, I think a lot of people were confused like me because I just never used it because I thought, well, that's weird. They have a language and why Polish?
yeah.
And now they've changed the word, and actually, I should just go look it up and tell you guys what to look for. Because that is super cool. That you can just inside an email. Let me just open up an email and pretend I'm gonna. It now says instead of polish, it says help me write, which makes way more sense than what they had there before. And it tells you what to do. So you just start typing whatever, and it'll inside the email. It'll go down below, rewrite what you want, and you can say, yes, that's good, insert, or redo it again, and then insert it. Pretty amazing. Have you
Yeah.
noticed that, Terry, or have you
I
not noticed?
haven't, I know it's there. I just haven't been using it. I keep going back to my old habit as
Yeah,
well.
because you're used to using Poe or ChatGPT or something. Yeah, I'm the same. But it's pretty incredible what we can do now. I'd love to hear any comments of what people are using, how they're using it. I can see in the future and that's what we'll be talking about with Tony on July 3rd, um, about how you can upload all the data into his system. And then it's a text message where the users, and he'll explain it in more detail. I don't want to say it incorrectly, but basically the people can sign up for it. They opt into text, and then they literally can text not Terry, but this AI bot that he's uploaded all this info, and can say, how many dogs can I have? And it'll tell you. Or what other things? I can't remember all the.
Yeah, how much is it for the monthly strata fees?
Right.
Yeah.
So they don't have to ask him. And they don't have to read through thousands of documents. They literally can just ask this bot. It's incredible. We'll talk about that on June 3rd, so stay tuned for that with Tony Adams from his
July,
company called,
July.
oh, sorry, July 3rd. Press Engage is his company, and I'm so excited to have Terry or Tony on. Any other things you want to talk about, Terry?
Okay, well, AI is a huge topic. We're just scratching the surface. I've talked to a lot of people who know a lot about AI.
Oh, yeah.
It's mind-boggling. So, but I think the conversation is all about change and be open to change.
Yes, because
Because
you're not, it's happening.
yeah, I
It's
know
happening.
I've been teaching for the last 10 years. You've been teaching for a long time as well. One of the biggest obstacles when you're bringing new technology and new ways of doing things to people, you
Yeah.
get pushback. I cannot tell you how many people I've stood in front of and got nothing but negative comments. Why do we have to do this? I hate change and all this other
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in or whatever you're doing. The world is changing.
Yeah.
You can choose to to embrace it and learn or not. So, but we're in a world where the trajectory is.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that as everybody kind of knows, everything changes so fast now. It's not like you wait years and years and years for things to happen now. It's fast. Like your phone's outdated as soon as you get it. Your computer's outdated as soon as you get it, right? Or within 6 months, there's some new version of whatever, which also probably isn't great for the environment either. But I think that, you're not still using a rotary phone. My guess
Mhm.
is that most people aren't. I always use that kind of analogy. And that AI is here, and where it actually ends up going, who the heck knows? But I know for me, it saves me. I probably can't even tell you how much time. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna guess 20 hours a week,
Mhm.
if not more. Like, I hate to say I don't have to think because I have to input the information I want it to do, but I don't have to think as much. Like, I don't have to. If you're not good at something specifically, it will do it for you. Or even I use AI to ask questions. Oh, oh, oh my gosh. Sorry, I just remembered the other one. Sorry. We've been looking at so much AI stuff lately. Okay, so there's the one that Dennis told us about,
Which one's that?
Grok.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's Grok, I think. This was also incredible. Now, I haven't gone back and looked at it, but you know what? I should do this live and show you guys because it's so, Terry, you want to talk while I find
Yeah,
this?
so while
Because,
he's doing that, one of the things that one of the guys showed me is, let's say if you're doing social media posts, and you know how long it takes to put let's say a 6 month social media package together. Let's
oh,
say
yeah,
2 posts a week. Let's say.
yep,
Um, he went in there and said, "Okay, tell me about the real estate market in Kelowna over," and he gave a whole bunch of criteria,
yeah,
and he gave him like 60 pages of data. So
yeah,
he said, "Okay, take the 60 pages of data and information, create me a 3 month social media program um, where I'm going to put 3 posts a week on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. so make them appropriate for those particular platforms. And I put together a program for 3 months, 3 posts a week, in nice little short little tidbits of information to go out, like in a minute or two. It was crazy.
Okay, I have to do that.
Yeah.
I have to do that. Now that he's saying that, my heart's beating a little bit faster because I'm like, oh gosh, hold on, that's really awesome. Like, there's things.
A bit nervous or overwhelmed right now.
Hold on.
That racing heart can be a lot, huh? What's got you feeling this way? Something specific on your mind?
Okay, hold on. I gotta stop. This is Grok. This is an AI bot therapist. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. Here to listen and help you sort through what's going on.
So she was, yeah, my heart was beating because I find AI overwhelming. What do I do?
AI can feel like a lot to wrap your head around, so it's no wonder your heart's racing. Try taking a slow, deep breath in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 4, then out through your mouth for 6. It can help calm the jitters. Want to give it a shot right now and tell me how it feels? Also,
Okay, we could sit and listen to this lady all day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a online therapist that is AI. This is a little scary to me. When he was showing it to me, he says, just ask anything. And I can't remember, we were talking about, we were having problems with our neighbors, and I was telling the bot, and she was sympathizing with me. And it felt like like she sounds like a real human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you just think about, yes, it's mind boggling what is happening in the world. But there's a lot of really good things. So people who can't afford therapists can go here. People who want to, the social media one that you just said is pretty amazing. I'm going to try that and
Yeah.
see. Sometimes you have to probably a little more research on that, because sometimes you have to be pretty specific. Like you were just saying what he said.
Yeah.
Again, you got to remember it's a computer, so you have to be very specific in what you want, and it just pulls the information from the internet and gives you mostly correct information.
And I forget which programs he was using. I think I wrote it down, but I'll have to dig through my notes and see, because there's so many options as far as
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Sure.
So
So
I would say use Grok if you're overwhelmed with AI to get your little therapy session. But start using AI to your benefit, to do listing presentations, to do social media posts, to do newsletters. You can do newsletters in oh my gosh, like a minute. Give me like what we do is we'll say what's happening in Kelowna in June, and then and please give us URL links to any events and whatever, and we get a newsletter in less than a minute.
yeah.
Like, it's incredible. So think about how you can use AI to your benefit, and let's not worry about what's happening in the world. I mean, I know, I don't know what we can do about it. They're going to have to figure out the power and everything else. But AI can change your business and your life. I use it personally and for business. Terry, you? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. One of the conversations that came up, was some agents were saying, I don't need a website anymore. I don't think I need to do a website. So there's talk about
What?
that. And then I don't know if you're up on the SEO stuff. Like, is SEO even relevant anymore?
I'm not as familiar.
Interesting.
It's funny, I was just looking at something this morning about SEO. That's not my thing. You have to hire an expert to do that. But I do think maybe let's save websites for another day. We've been talking a lot about AI. Let's keep websites. We'll talk about websites the next one we do, either before or after Tony. Sound
Okay.
good? Okay, and we could give examples. This is an issue with podcasts is I want to show people things and you're just listening to us. So this of course is on YouTube as well, but I don't show it live because then the people on the podcast can't listen live. So it's pretty fascinating AI stuff. I'm thankful that you guys are here. Thanks, Terry. Stay tuned again for July 3rd when we have Tony on. You're going to love what he has to say about more AI stuff. And I'm just going to play our little outro, and I think we are good to go. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Agent Tech Mastery Podcast. If this episode inspired you, please leave a review and also share this podcast. And I'd love to chat with you. Please feel free to DM me on most social channels or tag me. Let's chat. If you are feeling stuck with your real estate business, wasting so much time entering data using free email addresses or worse, a brokerage one, yikes, or you're using a CRM, well, you know, you're not really using a CRM, or worse, you're using a brokerage CRM. If you can't find anything due to disjointed systems, why not book a complimentary real estate tech and systems audit? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Go to go.agenttechmastery.com/pod. Again, that is go.agenttechmastery.com/pod. And tune in to watch our podcast on any major podcast app by searching Agent Tech Mastery. See you on our next episode.